The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. About 20,000 people flocked to a gymnasium in Los Baños, Laguna yesterday to gather cash aid from the local government. Photos and videos from the affair are now spreading on social media, spurring fears that the distribution of Ayuda may have become a super spreader event. While authorities claim to have strictly enforced the mandatory wearing of face masks and face shields, it's apparent that social distancing was not observed. The Ayuda distribution started at 9 in the morning yesterday and only wrapped up at 3 a.m. today. But even after lining up for hours and possibly exposing themselves to the virus, most residents only received 412 pesos instead of the 1,000 peso aid they were expecting. Officials reportedly announced that they have run out of funds and were forced to divide the remaining amount so that everyone can receive their share. Iloilo City is tightening restrictions to curb the ballooning COVID-19 cases in the city. To give us the latest on the ground, we have Jenny Dongon reporting from Iloilo City. Moderna says its vaccine is effective at preventing COVID-19 for 12 to 17-year-olds. This is based on phase 2 clinical trials with more than 3,700 adolescent participants in the U.S. Dave Wilson reports on Bloomberg.
We're going to turn to our stock of the hour now. Moderna released a study today showing that its vaccine is effective for 12 to 17-year-olds, making it our stock of the hour. Stocks editor Dave Wilson is here with the story. Dave?
Thank you, David. Yeah, we're talking about a study done here in the U.S. that involved more than 3,700 children between the ages of 12 and 17. And yes, the vaccine was found to be effective, just as it has been in those 18 years and older. You see the efficacy rate. It's either 93% or 100%, depending on whether you count relatively mild cases. Now, Moderna plans to apply worldwide for approval to administer the drug to 12 and 17-year-olds by early June. And this comes at a time when U.S. regulators have already approved the use of the shot from Pfizer and Germany's BioNTech for those aged 12 and up. The initial authorization with Pfizer was 16, but you can see how Moderna's business has taken off as a result of its success with the COVID-19 vaccine. I mean, you're talking more than $6 billion of revenue potentially in the fourth quarter of this year, up 75,000% plus from where they were at the beginning of last year. I mean, that's what the decision will mean for this company. And you can see how its shares have done over time as well. It's been a top performer among the companies that either have vaccines on the market or are pursuing them. So now we're looking at, in terms of the U.S., competition for Pfizer and BioNTech when it comes to younger people getting vaccinated.
So, Dave, one of the things about Moderna it was a much smaller company, as I understand, than Pfizer was, so it was coming off of a lower base there. Do we have a sense of what comes for them after they have the vaccine? I mean, what do they do next?
Well, among other things, they work on booster shots. They work on other types of vaccines. I mean, there's no doubt the COVID-19 vaccine was sort of the initial success for Moderna when it comes to the messenger RNA technology that's used in the shot. So it's a matter now of how do they expand in that business with COVID-19 vaccines, and what other uses can they develop for the technology?
Well, and even going beyond Moderna, as I understand it, that mRNA technology had never been used successfully to develop a vaccine before. Does it hold out the possibility for Moderna and Pfizer and maybe for others now that we will have vaccines for a range of diseases?
That may well be possible. Certainly, the drug makers are looking in that direction, and it becomes a matter of how things unfold in terms of the technology, in terms of what kinds of studies they're doing. I mean, it's clearly an area, though, where there can be room for more.
Marawi residents don't just have to face the ghosts of the siege 4 years ago. They also have to deal with so-called ghost schools. But why do these continue to exist even after the Battle of Marawi? Stanley Gaheta gives us a front seat to the story.
Marawi siege in 2017 created an impact in many communities here in Lanao del Sur. Some went to formal school after the crisis. Others continued to go to madrasa or Arabic school to progress themselves. But even after the battle 4 years ago, ghost schools exist. Every year, the regional government in Muslim Mindanao spends millions of pesos for local schools, teachers, and non-teaching staff in the provinces of Maguindanao and Lanao del Sur. But the money goes somewhere else, because these schools do not exist. But this system will soon be a thing of the past. Muhakkar Iqbal, the spokesperson of the rebel group Moro Islamic Liberation Front, was appointed last year as Education Minister of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao.
That's corruption. Siguro mga 70% ng problema namin ngayon namana namin sa previous administrations.
Residents in Marawi City know the existence of ghost schools and ghost teachers.
Baka siguro pang pera lang. Siguro lahat sila kasi, as a group sila, yung principal, yung mga teachers, sila taas sa one.
Yung kasi yung iba, hindi naman nag-aral pag pumunta sa school. Sinasabi nila na bayad kayo, bibigyan niyo naman kanila ng card.
But the problem did not end there. There are schools which are not accredited by DepEd and CHED. In 2017, the education problem in Marawi City worsened when fighting between soldiers and the pro-Islamic State Maute group reduced the rebel schools and universities in the city.
Marami daw talagang ghost school before panong Marawi Siege. Pero noong after Marawi Siege na, doon na kasi nagsisalabasan lahat ng mga bako.
Residents are hoping the government rebuilds their homes and schools because children needed to learn. It is their only passport out of poverty.
Unfair. Unfair kasi sinusulduhan sila ng government tapos hindi nila ginagawa yung work nila. We need education, lalo na sa panahon ngayon.
Stanley Gahete, We're One News.
Pinoy Sakuragi is now signing off. Marc Pingris has announced his retirement from pro basketball in an Instagram post last night. The 39-year-old remembered being picked third overall by FedEx Express in the 2004 draft. Pingris said his dream started to come true that day. One highlight of Pingris' decorated PBA career was being part of the Pure Foods team that sent home a rare Grand Slam in 2014 along with James Yap and PJ Simon. With Simon also retiring earlier, Yap remains the sole active player in the trio. Dubbed the Pinoy Sakuragi for his endearing passion and rugged playing style, Pingris retires with 2 Finals MVP plums, 3 Defensive Player of the Year citations, and even a Most Improved Player award in 2016. The Pangasinan native also suited up for the national team that copped silver medals in the 2013 and 2015 FIBA Asia Championships. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe. Philippines, we are One News.